Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Jason Blundell has just finished his Q&A on Twitter. It's gone on for about 2.5 hours and he's answered about 11 or 12 questions. So it's been pretty slow going. Like, I've been streaming the entire time and just reacting live to the answers as they've come through. And some of them have been kind of meme answers. A couple have been really interesting. And then the majority, I'd say, have kind of fallen in the middle and just been things that we sort of already knew and stuff like that. I'm going to run through absolutely all the answers now and kind of live react to each one as I go through, just so that you guys have all the information about what's happened in the Q&A, and then I'll give some final thoughts at the end about whether this was successful or should have been better or whatever, okay? So, the first question we had was from LinkBoyRocks, and I mean, I'll just play the answer for you now because he'll state the question in the tweet.
Oh, hello there. Happy 115 Day. I'm taking over the Twitter channel, the Treyarch Twitter channel today, so I'm going to read some questions from you, the community, and try to answer some of them. So let's start off. Let me see if I can get this technology working. Okay. LinkBoyRocks asks, will something like Newton's Cookbook returning to Black Ops 4? Great question. So, yes. Something will come into Black Ops 4 that allows you to combine your different elixirs together and make new ones. I don't know if Mr. Newton will be coming back, but the mechanic absolutely will be. So thanks, LinkBoyRocks. Great question.
So, that was the first one, and it's a little bit of a kind of awkward answer from Jason, to be honest. I think that he was just sort of getting used to answering questions in this format. The rest of them are significantly less awkward than that first video. Some kind of Newton's Cookbook equivalent is coming back. That's a good thing, no idea when, and that's not something that they mentioned in the blog post either, so that could really happen at any time, but it's good to know that that's actually on the cards at least. The next question was from Daniel Brown, who says, will some of the old perks return? Jason responded to this in text and said, none of the old perks will return in their previous form, but we'll continue to add new perks throughout the Black Ops 4 season. This, I think, is no real surprise. There's no reason for them to be adding the old perks, I would say, because they made a very conscious decision in Black Ops 4 to change that old system and kind of bring it into the 21st century, if you will, or bring it into Treyarch's version of the 21st century. And so I think that it wouldn't have made sense for them to just bring back old perks. So that's basically the answer there, but there will be new perks throughout the Black Ops 4 season, which is good. That's something that we didn't really have enough of in Black Ops 3, I felt like, because Gobbles took the forefront of the focus. The next question came from BK Jamin, and BK Jamin actually just said cheers to Jason, and then Jason just said this.
Oh, cheers.
Which has kind of become a meme on our stream. T. Tomo asks, can you tease what's going on in DLC 2? And Jason says the following. This is a really interesting answer.
Okay, so next question. Okay, question from T. Tomo 321. I hope I got your name right there. It says, can you tease what's going to be in DLC 2? What a very good and direct question. I don't know if I can say that on these kind of Twitters and YouTube's social media thing. It's all Greek to me.
So, it's all Greek to me. Seems like he's hinting at the fact that we're going to Greece. We do know, I believe, that it's going to be a Chaos story map, and so the dreams that everyone has of, oh, maybe it'll be Nuketown, might end up being crushed because it seems like it's going to be Chaos in Greece, following on from the events that we've seen in the previous 3 maps that we've had so far. So I wish it was Ether, but it looks like it's going to be Chaos, unfortunately. The next question was from Mr. Taco Belmonto, who says, what are the team's thoughts on the current perk balance in the game? This is basically a non-answer because the question is kind of very open, doesn't really go anywhere, but I'll play it for you anyway.
Okay, so another question from Mr. Taco Belmonto. He asks, what are the team's thoughts on the current perk balance in the game? Personally, I find myself running Staminup's modifier exclusively because of how powerful it is for training. I'd love to see the lesser used perks get some buff and changes down the line. Great question. Yes, we're continuously looking at all our balancing actually throughout the game. But perks, yes, we'll definitely be getting more attention to do with buffing them and nerfing other little bits to improve the zombies experience.
So, like I said, sort of doesn't really tell us anything new there. Ed59 says, although you probably can't give us a number, can we expect more zombies maps than usual for a Black Ops game? Now, this question is an awesome question, except it's also one that's very easy to dodge, and you'll see that Jason completely dodges it, because Ed's question is really going in the direction of, will there be a Zombies Chronicles 2, or will there be a second season of content for Black Ops 4? But instead, Jason just says the following.
Okay, so Ed59 asks, although you probably can't give us a number, can we expect more zombie maps than usual for a Black Ops game? Well, I'm glad to say that we've already confirmed that, because with Black Ops 4 disc and with the Black Ops Pass, you already have more maps involved in this season than we've ever done in a previous Black Ops game. So, yes, Ed59.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of tell by the smirk on his face at the end that he knows he's dodged the question there. The next question from, again, Ed59 saying, which Zombies character would you want to go for a pint with?
So Ed59's previous question was so good, I thought I'd answer a second one of his. So he asks, which Zombies character would you want to go for a pint with? What a fantastic and inspired question. Well, I think it'd be Stanton Shaw. I'd be having a water, of course, and he'd probably be having all the alcohol that the pub serves. So it'll be a good night for everyone.
So again, we don't really learn anything there, but it's a good kind of meme answer, I suppose. Vignesh says, how will you prevent server pause abuse? And Treyarch says, the design for server pause is exclusive to hosts in private matches, which I think is probably a good thing. So feel free to abuse your friends, but you won't be able to troll public match teammates. That, I think, is not a bad thing in the slightest. I think that that's probably the right implementation, so that's good to hear. I don't think there's any issues with it, at least. Alan Prime says, do you ever plan on changing the HUD or giving us options to customize it? And they say no plans to make changes to the HUD at this time, as we're laser focused on building out the all new features and content laid out for the near future, as we've covered in today's Treyarch blog. That's a shame, because I think the HUD in this game is pretty damn clunky, but so be it. And then they answered the question from Rich Killa, which was really good to see, because Rich Killa is like a Zombies Cypher community member, and this was the question and answer.
The question from Twitter from Rich Killer TSM. It says, hi there. On one hand, I want to ask a question about ciphers. On the other hand, I don't want nor expect any hints. Good. I like to fulfill your expectations. So my question is, what is your favourite unsolved zombie cipher? Which game map is it from? Thanks in advance. Okay, so I would say a couple of my favourites are actually in Voyage of Despair. There's actually quite a few. Now, the only thing I would say, because you said you don't want any hints, sure, I don't want to cause a rumble.
He seems there to be hinting that there's unsolved stuff in Voyage that we probably haven't even figured out is there in the first place, and my guess is that he's talking about controller rumble in some way, except then there'd be issues with like, okay, if you're on PC, you're not using a controller, so you don't have rumble in that manner, so, like, is rumble a keyword for something else, or something completely new that we haven't even thought of yet? I don't know, but this is probably one of the better answers that he gives in the entire Q&A, and it's a great question from Rich Killer in the first place. So that was a good one for sure. Definitely going to have to investigate what the hell's going on Voyage. You'll start to notice here that he's only really answering questions about the chaos side of things, and that's a theme that unfortunately is going to continue as well. In the next question, they say, just as we've planned with the MP40 and Grav, we plan to continue supporting additional Black Ops 4 weapons in Zombies going forward, and that's in response to a question from Gary saying, are we going to see old weapons return to Zombies? Then they respond in text again to a guy called Yeah Hex, who says, what customizations are being added in the future? And they say, in the coming weeks, we're adding support for Mastery camos, Mastercrafts, Reactive camos, Black Market camos, a new perk, and more. And later in the year, we'll have even more character customization offerings coming to Zombies. Stay tuned. So that's obviously stuff that we heard about earlier today, and I've already made videos about. Not really anything new there. They're just reiterating the fact that they're the things coming in the next couple of weeks. Then Sif San says, why did Dead of the Night come out after 9 instead of the other way around? And Jason responds.
Okay, so we got a question from Sif San, who asked the question about the Chaos story and the decisions behind it. Why did Dead of the Night come out after 9 instead of the other way around? Why flip the chronology like that? Freudian there. Great question. 2 reasons. First one is Dead of the Night was always intended to have a celebrity cast, and so due to kind of recording schedules and so forth, we had to put it later in the schedule. The other reason is that there's certain kind of concepts and ideas that were needed to be put in earlier, and so that some of the gags and some of the plot devices we use in Dead of the Night work, you need 9 and Voyage before that. So they're the kind of two reasons. One is a practicality, a reality of development, and the other one was introducing elements, because you've got to remember, for the Chaos story, there's lots of new ideas, lots of new mechanics. All these things were brand new to the community, and so I felt it was more important to ease you in with a very difficult map and a more approachable map with 9 and Voyage before we got to Dead of the Night.
I think that he gives an honest answer there that conveys the reasons that they chose for that kind of ordering. I feel like it was not necessarily the best order just because of the fact that it meant DLC 1 didn't feel like it carried any weight. Like, we'd already seen the results of DLC 1, and so we cared a little bit less about the ending. We knew the mansion was going to burn down at the end. Like, it just sort of took some of the gravitas away. But, I mean, it's sort of fair enough that they wanted it to be a celebrity map, and the celebrity maps obviously are difficult to do on launch because that means that their schedules are even tighter and stuff like that. So that's sort of fair enough. And then there's this meme question that's just weird. So here you go, here's this one.
Okay, so Dylan Ebin asks the question, is Scarlett Shaw's father? There'd have to be some sort of time travel for that to happen, which would get a bit mucky. But if the question is Alistair Scarlett's father, then yeah, Scarlett grew up with Alistair. Obviously, all that kind of backstory is explored in the comic series, and you'll have to watch this space as our other DLCs come out to see what happens with the Rhodes family.
So, complete meme question and, I mean, sort of understandable answer where he's like, do you mean Alistair? Or, like, what's going on here? We then get a text question from John saying, can we get some sort of roadmap for the zombies journey we're going to be going on? And can we at least learn some more about factions? And Treyarch then says, well, just read our blog post for the roadmap, which is kind of an annoying answer because what John is asking for is a kind of more in-depth roadmap with some actual dates and some sort of concrete this and then this within a certain month, etc. And they basically just say, we're just leaving it nebulous and we're saying it's coming in the future. So that sort of sucks. And then they say, as for factions, the team is working on it and we're excited to share more as we get closer to release. And again, this is one of those things where it's like, well, Jason said that factions was done and it's clearly not, and they're clearly working on it, but why was that even a thing in the first place? And can we at least get an idea of when it's going to be coming out? And just, we don't really know what it's going to do yet or anything. Like, people are so confused about factions, but I guess they're just sort of staying very light on the details until they've actually built the mode or built whatever it is, which is kind of fair enough because things change in game dev, obviously. You don't want to overpromise. It's just confusing because we were told that it was finished already. Then Massamine asks a question, and it's as follows.
Massamine 14 asks, Jason, what's your guilty pleasure? That's a fun one. Well, there is one thing. On the weekend, when there's not many people around, I do like to consume human flesh.
Oh, okay. So I had people in my live stream chat saying, oh, it's a reference to the flesh. I don't think it is. I think it's just a joke, but I thought he was going to hint something in the game, and then he said that, and I was like, oh, right. And then we had the final little message, which I'll also play now.
Ah, well, Father Time has defeated us once more. So it's the end of my takeover of the Treyarch Twitter channel. Thank you very much to everyone in the community for your amazing questions. Please go to the Treyarch blog to see upcoming features that are coming to Black Ops 4. Thanks very much, and see you soon.
So, overall, was the Q&A a success? Well, I think that there's two sides to this story. On one side, this is really good to see because it's Jason Blundell getting on camera and actually talking to the community. And that just doesn't happen often enough. I've been saying it for months now. We need more communication. We need Jason or someone in his team to talk to the zombies community who knows the community, knows what the community wants, and can actually have a dialogue with us. And this is really good that they're actually sort of responding to that sentiment with an actual Q&A. The flip side to the coin is that the Q&A felt a bit weird. It just felt kind of stunted. Like, this took 2.5 hours to answer 12 questions. Most of them are either very kind of vanilla, yes, we have more maps on disk than ever before, or they're basically memes. And then there are a couple of really good answers which are great, and I'm very appreciative for those, but they're kind of lost amongst this weird, stilted kind of way of giving us this information. A lot of people in my stream chat were saying, it's kind of like talking to a politician. You ask a question, and you know the questions that you care about are going to get brushed aside, and questions that are jokes or just easy to answer are always going to be picked out. And I feel like that's kind of a very representative statement that could be expanded and used as a kind of microcosm almost of the problem that Treyarch has with communication for Black Ops 4 Zombies. Like, we have so many questions about this game all the time, right? About the story, about the features, about upcoming stuff, whatever it might be. And the communication has always been shrouded in mystery and this kind of meme-y approach and stuff like that. And as I've said many times before, that works really well when the community is all super invested, but less well when people are starting to get turned away. And I feel like this sort of Q&A 3 years ago during Black Ops 3 would have been incredible, but now it's like, it's good and it's bad. It's got pros and its cons, and I think that it's a little bit of a risk for them to be doing stuff like this because they do risk people seeing it and going, you know what? I think that they're just taking the mick. I think that they're just being rude, and I'm just going to go play something else. Like, I think that that is a risk here because they're really not just being direct with their viewers or with their players or whatever, which is kind of what the majority of people, I think, want right now. So it's a mixed bag, but I'm glad that they're giving us some communication in the first place. That is positive for sure. It's definitely something that we didn't have much of at all last year. We just had patch notes and patch notes and patch notes. And even that only started like a month into the actual game being out. So they're improving, they're learning, and they're talking about upcoming features, which is definitely a double thumbs up from me. I'm going to wrap the video up here, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I've been MrRoflWaffles. Drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now. Drop a like on the stream as well. Hell yeah.